Good morning, students. In today's class, we'll start with the next topic of quantum mechanics, that is wave function. So we'll just start with the wave function. What is actually the meaning of wave function? See here. We'll start with the new topic, that is wave function. In quantum mechanics, the characteristic of the wave is explained by the term called wave function, that is indicated as this particular symbol. So here we'll deal with what is actually the wave function. So if wave function is nothing but a mathematical, it is nothing but a mathematical representation, mathematical representation mathematical representation which provides which provides which provides complete which provides complete information which provides complete information of the system of the system of the system. I repeat the same thing here. See, in quantum mechanics, the next important aspect that will tell us the information regarding the character of the wave. So, the character of the wave, which is exhibited by the particle. So, particle here exhibiting wave nature. So, wave we want to study that wave characteristic. So, wave characteristic can be studied by a mathematical representation that is given by psi. So, the mathematical representation which provides such complete information of the system is known as wave function. And regarding the wave function, we need to remember some important points actually. Now, these important points, first we'll deal with what is actually the wave function we just started with. So, these concepts are actually given by Max Born. So, this is the scientist who has given us the information regarding the wave characteristic. So, wave characteristic can be known by the wave function. So, this is called Max Born, which is given by Max Born scientist. So, now we need to understand what are the important properties and the significance, the properties and the significance of the wave function. So, why you are studying about this? So, we need to understand the character of that wave. So, you need to remember some important properties and the significance of the wave function in order to understand this elementary particle, microscopic particle. So, in order to know the character of the microscopic particle, so Max Born is a scientist which gave us the information regarding the properties and the importance of the wave function. So, first of all, we just write the I will write the properties and the significance simultaneously. So, you just split which is properties and significance and let me know. So, I will tell you how to split this, right. The first important thing that they have given us the information regarding, if this is the case, mod of psi of x, right, mod square, right. Now, this is the case, we say that this is actually, this is the probability, is the probability is the probability probability. So, I am going very slowly. Probability density of the particle right, particle. Now, this is the first case. The second one, so if this is the case, if this is mathematically, if this is the given what you can say parameter, then we say that this will give us the information regarding the probability density of the particle, right. So, now if psi of mod x square into dx, this is simply the probability. This is called the probability. We say this is actually the why we are saying, why we are using the word probability here, because we cannot accurately locate the particle, right? So here what we are doing here, we are using the probability first, then we can easily understand what is how this particle nature, what is the nature of this particle. So now that is the reason that we'll just study this mod of psi square. If this is the case, mathematically we say that this is only the, will give us the information regarding the probability, right, of the particle, right? So important parameters that you need to remember, that psi of x must be finite. Always the psi of x must be finite. It should be finite, right? And psi of x must be must be right, what you can say, continuous, and also dou psi by, dou psi by dou x should also be, must be continuous. Please make a note of it. Should be continuous, must be continuous, and also it should be, single value. It should have a single value. So not only it should be continuous, but it should be a single value. So we say that that is given by the parameter psi of x. So the important property that we need to remember is that the psi of x must be finite, psi of x must be continuous, it should be single value. The first derivative of the psi of x we should also be continuous, right? So that we are actually dealing with. So now the next important thing that you need to remember, if you want to find out the particle in the space, so what they say that if we don't know exactly where the particle is, that is the reason that we are using the probability concept. So if the probability of finding the particle, if the probability of finding the particle in the space, if the probability of finding the particle in the space is unity. So now it should be how it will be expressed. So if say that the probability of finding the particle anywhere in the space, so there is a probability, yes, I can find out the probability of the particle. The particle may be existing at somewhere in the space. So how we will write it mathematically? That can be written as, that is also called normalization condition. So it should be written as integration of minus infinity to plus infinity. See, minus infinity to plus infinity, mod of psi of x, right, into dx is equal to 1. So we say that this is actually the normalized, we say this is actually normalized condition, we say this is actually the normalized condition. If the probability of finding the particle is in the space is unity, so that is minus infinity to plus infinity, mod of psi of x, right, this is mod of psi of x whole, this should be equal to x square into dx is equal to 1. This is also called normalized condition. So if we say that there is a probability of finding the particle in this space, there is a probability, there is a way out to find out the particles. How it will mathematically look at it, how we can write integration of minus infinity to plus infinity, mod of psi of x, right, square dx is equal to 1. This is also known as normalized condition. So now this is what we need to understand about the psi. So okay, so now what is the important significance? What is the importance, right? So it relates, what it said, it relates, see, it relates the particle and wave nature. It relates Who relates? Psi. Psi is relating. Wave function is relating. So it relates particle and wave nature and wave nature and wave nature of matter of matter of matter statistically statistically statistically. It relates particle and wave nature of matter statistically. Who is relating? Wave function is relating particle and wave nature of the matter, so statistically. So also this first one, second is what? The it is a complex quantity. Wave function is nothing but it means wave function. So it is a complex quantity. Complex quantity. We cannot measure it. We cannot measure it. See, we cannot measure it. So now this is a complex quantity, we cannot measure it. Now this is the important properties of the wave function and the significance of the wave function. You need to sort it out, split it out, what is that important properties and the significance. So please look into this, and you can just make a note of it. Everybody, please try to make a note of it. I think that you got a clear idea about the Max Born properties and the significance of the wave function. Now what we'll do is that again we'll go for a new document, next board, okay, right, next. So now we'll start with the next topic. So I think that you got an idea. So now there is another scientist who has given us the information regarding describing the wave nature of the particle in the mathematical form. So who is that scientist? We'll just know, right? See, the scientist who has given his information regarding the wave nature of the what you can say particle. So the equation see the equation that describes the equation that describes the wave nature of a particle the equation that describes the wave nature of a particle in mathematical form is known as Schrodinger wave equation. Why actually we are studying? The definition we are giving. The equation that describes the wave nature of a particle in mathematical form is known as Schrodinger wave equation. The Schrodinger is the name of the scientist who has given us the information regarding the wave nature, right, of a particle in the mathematical form. So how many equations are there, Schrodinger? There are two equations, right? Right, one is Schrodinger time dependent equation, and also Please make a note of it, everybody. Schrodinger time independent equation. Schrodinger time dependent equation and Schrodinger time independent equation. There are two different types of equations which is given by Schrodinger that actually we are going to learn in today's session. So the equation that describes the wave nature of a particle in mathematical form is known as Schrodinger wave equation. Schrodinger has given us two types of equations, that is Schrodinger time dependent equation, Schrodinger time independent equation. So what is Schrodinger time dependent equation? Now see here. See here. See, Schrodinger also provided us the total energy of the system. Schrodinger has given us the information regarding the Schrodinger has given us the information regarding energy of the system, or the particle, right? So Schrodinger has given us the information regarding the energy of the system, or we say simply it is a particle. So first, in the today's session, we'll just derive the Schrodinger time dependent equation, and also we'll derive the Schrodinger time independent equation mathematically. So here, telling theoretically it's okay, but it should be verified mathematically. That is the reason that we are going for Schrodinger time dependent equation and Schrodinger time independent equation. Let us see how we are going to derive it. So everybody has written, I think. So we'll just erase it. So we'll start equation, right? It should be in one page. That so you will be comfortable if I just derive it in one page. That is the reason that I'm erasing it. Okay. So there are two types of equations. One is Schrodinger time independent equation, and another is the Schrodinger time dependent equation. Independent and dependent equations which just give us the information regarding the energy. Schrodinger has also given us the information regarding the energy of the given system or the particle, right? So that actually we are going to derive in today's session. So first of all, we just derive Schrodinger time dependent equation. There are different methods to derive this Schrodinger time dependent equation, right? And also the independent equation. So this is my way of deriving the Schrodinger time dependent equation. We'll start with the Schrodinger dependent equation first. So in the first session, we'll just go for Schrodinger time dependent Schrodinger time dependent equation. So how we'll just derive this Schrodinger time independent equation? We don't know anything, right? So and actually we are studying about the wave nature of the microscopic particle. That is the reason that we need to write some. Let us consider. We have to consider something, right? Let us consider the particle. Let us consider the particle. Let us consider the particle of mass. The particle is having some mass m. See, inverted commas m, right? Having kinetic energy. See, another form of kinetic energy. See, one of the form is kinetic energy. One of the form is half mv square, right? So another form, what is that another form? Half m v square into m by m. value doesn't change. So what is that energy? What will be equal to? See, half m v square by m. Can I write like this? Since P is equal to mv, can I write like this? Therefore, implies half P square by 1 by 2m into P square. All else directly I can write P square by 2m. So my kinetic energy is what? See, my kinetic energy is what? P square by 2m. How I got? I have written here. Half mv square multiplying and dividing by m. So how what I will get? Half mv whole square by m. Since P is equal to mv, so P is equal to mv means 1 by 2m P square, right? mv square is P square. So P square by 2m. So this is what? Kinetic energy. So this is the kinetic energy of the particle which is having the mass m. So I think that you got clear idea what I have done. Now, and when definitely particle will, when I say the Schrodinger has given us the information regarding the energy of the particle, so kinetic energy and also you'll have a potential energy. Total energy is equal to kinetic energy plus potential energy. So and potential energy, and the potential energy is V. So we just consider the kinetic energy and also we'll consider the potential energy V. Now, how we'll write? So you already know that we'll write the total energy. Total energy is equal to kinetic energy plus potential energy. This is one way of deriving this Schrodinger time dependent equation, right? From what we know already from our lower classes, right? So now total energy is E. Can I write E? And potential kinetic energy is P square by 2m plus potential energy is how much? V. Can I write like this? Understood everybody? Right? So now what I can write here? Now what I am doing here is that, see what I am doing here, I am writing this E is equal to P square by 2m plus V. Now E is equal to P square by 2m, and I am taking the help of operator, energy operator. This you have to remember, right? This is one way. Energy operator. So this you have to use it. Operator, energy operator, which give us the information. There is a derivation how I got this E is equal to. So this E can also be written as I h bar dou by dou t. I h bar dou by dou t. This can be this is the energy operator. So why we are using quantum mechanics? We will use operator. Operators are nothing but the measuring devices of the given quantity. Operators are nothing but the measuring devices of the given quantity, right? So now E is equal to, E can also be written as in terms of operator, its operator I is I h bar dou by dou t, and P square can also be written as h square del square minus h bar square del square. These are the energy momentum operator. We say this is what? Momentum. These two terms, if you can remember, this is one way of deriving the Schrodinger time dependent equation. This is called momentum operator. In quantum mechanics, we will use the operator which are nothing but the measuring devices, right? P square is equal to minus h bar square del square. This is the, instead of P square, I can also write minus h bar square del square. So instead of E, what I can write? I h bar dou by dou t. So now multiplying, this is equation number 1, multiplying with psi on both sides. So if you have multiply the psi on both sides, E psi is equal to P square by 2m plus V into into psi. Can I write like this? Multiplying psi on both sides. So what I can write here instead of E, I said by applying, by using, right, applying or using energy, energy and momentum operator, momentum operator, energy and momentum operators. This is one way of deriving. So instead of E, what I can write? I h bar dou psi by rho t. Can I write like this? P square is what? Minus h bar square del square by 2m plus v, right, into psi. Agree everybody? So this, what you have to remember is that there is energy operator and there is a momentum operator, and that is value is given this, and there is a derivation, but you need not remember that derivation. If you can remember this, this is enough for you. This is a shortcut of writing the Schrodinger time dependent equation. Now if H is equal to Hamiltonian operator, we say this is Hamiltonian operator. Instead of writing all this h bar square del square by 2m plus v, we can directly write h, right? So you already know what is I h bar dou by dou t. Why is I h bar dou by dou t is E. So what I can write here? E psi is equal to, instead of all this thing, h psi. So this is what? Schrodinger time dependent equation. So if you can write this, this is, I think that will be enough in the examination also. This one way of deriving the Schrodinger time dependent equation. So what, again I'm repeating, see, we don't know what is Schrodinger time dependent equation for now. So what we are doing, what we know. So let us consider the particle of mass m having the kinetic energy half mv square. So the kinetic energy can also be written as half mv square multiplying m on both m and dividing m, the value doesn't change. So what I can write here, half mv square by m. What is mv? P. So half 1 by 2m p square is equal to, this can be written as p square by 2m. And what is potential energy? V. So the total energy is given as kinetic energy plus potential energy. So total energy is equal to p square by 2m plus v. This is equation number 1. So what is energy operator? Now operator in quantum mechanics will use, so they are the measuring devices of the quantities, right, which we want to know. So in quantum mechanics we will use some operators. So instead of writing E, what I can write? I h bar dou by dou t. And instead of writing p square, what we can write? We can also write minus h bar square del square. So what I'm doing here is that instead of E and p square, we are replacing with the operators, its operators. So first of all, multiplying psi on both sides. So I have just multiplied psi on both sides. So E psi is equal to p square by 2m plus v into psi. So by using the energy and the momentum operators, what I can write? Instead of E, I h bar dou psi by dou t is equal to minus h bar square del square by 2m plus v into psi. If h is nothing but minus h bar square del square by 2m plus v, so what I can write? E psi is equal to h psi. I think that you got a very clear idea regarding deriving the Schrodinger time dependent equation. For now, we'll just derive the Schrodinger time independent equation. So we just erase it. Understood? Understood everybody? Clear? So this you need to remember. You can easily, I think that if you remember these two parameters, right? What is E is equal to I h bar dou by dou t, and what is p square, that is minus h bar square del square. So that if you can just remember, I think that you will easily write it down, the Schrodinger time dependent equation. This is one way of deriving it. There are different methodologies which can be used to derive Schrodinger time dependent equation. Right, for now what we'll do is that we'll just derive the next Schrodinger time independent equation, right? So just we'll just for a minute, so just erase it, and definitely we'll just go for the next derivation. The next derivation, that is Schrodinger time independent equation. So Schrodinger time independent equation Here you will find that what is the dependent equation? You will find dou by dou t. So we want to remove this. It should not be time dependent, so it should be independent. So the wave characteristic of wave should not change with respect to time. Here in the Schrodinger time dependent equation, it is the characteristic of the wave is changing with respect to the time. So we want to study the characteristic of the wave, right? Which doesn't depend upon the time factor. So that is, and why we are studying this? Why? Because of this numerous application. So here we just deal with the different applications of Schrodinger time independent equation. So we will discuss first of all Schrodinger time independent equation. See, so here first of all time, here we'll write it is independent, right? So first of all we'll go for independent equation. Independent equation. So how we'll derive this independent equation? See, for now we'll start with the Schrodinger time. Same thing what you have to do. See, write it down. Let us consider same thing we have to write. Let us consider a particle. Let us consider a particle having mass m, right? Moving with a velocity, v. So let us consider a particle having mass m moving with a velocity v. So now let psi be the wave function. Psi be the wave function. Psi be the wave function. Psi be the wave function along x comma y comma z directions. Psi be the wave function along x comma y comma z directions at time t. At time t. This we know already, right? So the de Broglie wavelength also we have derived in the last class. So what will be the de Broglie wavelength? The de Broglie wavelength of the particle which is exhibiting as a wave, right? Particle, that is equal to lambda is equal to h by mv. Right? This is the de Broglie wavelength of the particle, right? Everybody know this. So we just derived that in the last class. So now we know from intermediate the classical. See, we don't know what is Schrodinger. See, Schrodinger time independent equation. So what we know in the previous classes, what we know from the intermediate, we just consider. So the classical differential equation, right? The classical differential equation. Which type of wave we are talking about? Equation of a progressive wave. Of a which wave? This type of wave we are discussing is a progressive wave. The classical differential equation of a progressive wave is given by dou square psi by dou x square plus dou square psi by dou y square plus dou square psi by dou z square is equal to 1 by v square dou square psi by dou t square. This is equation number 1, and this can also be written as del square psi is equal to 1 by v square dou square psi by dou t square. This is also equation number 1. So what is del? Dou by dou x plus dou by dou y plus dou by dou z. So since it is square, so we have written instead of all these things, so we have written it as del square psi is equal to equation number 1. So what you can say, this is a second order differential equation. From this you can see, everybody know this is second order differential equation. So if this is a second order differential equation, then it should have some solution. So what we have to assume, let the solution of equation 1 of equation 1 of equation 1 of equation 1 maybe what you have to consider, let us consider psi is equal to psi naught e to the power of minus I omega t. This may be the equation. So this may be the equation of the second order differential equation, that is given by psi is equal to psi naught e to the power of minus I omega t. So what is psi naught here? What is the meaning of psi naught? This is the minimum amplitude possessed by the particle, right? So it is the minimum of psi naught is what? Psi naught is the amplitude of the wave, means particle is exhibiting as a wave nature. Amplitude of the wave at p of x comma y comma z. So psi naught is the amplitude of the wave at p comma x comma, at the point p comma x comma y comma z. So now what we are doing here is that this is equation number, let us consider this is equation number 2. So now differentiating, we have to use differentiation here, right? Differentiating, in order to simplify it, we are doing this, right? Differentiating, we want to remove this t aspect, right? Independent means we need to remove this t. So for that we have written, rewritten as this, and then we consider the solution may be like this. So then we are differentiating the equation 2, we get what we'll get? First differentiation, dou psi by dou t is equal to psi naught differentiated e to the power of minus I omega. Omega is angular frequency, remember, t is time, right, into t. With respect to t, if you just again you have to differentiate, minus I omega will be there. E to the power of x differentiation is e to the power of x. Instead of x, what is there? Minus I omega t. So it will come like this. Implies, so if you again differentiate it, d square dou square psi by dou t square is equal to psi naught e to the power of minus I omega t into again minus I omega into minus I omega. So again the two times differentiation. So first differentiation is like this, and this is second differentiation. So what you will obtain? Dou square psi by dou t square is equal to psi naught e to the power of minus omega t is what? Psi naught e to the power of minus omega t. I can write psi. Clear everybody? So what I can write here? Psi can I write direct? Minus into minus is plus I square. So what I can write? I square omega square. Clear? Implies dou square psi by dou t square is equal to I square is what? Minus 1 minus omega square psi. So I got the value of dou square psi by dou t square is equal to minus omega square psi. So I will substitute this value. I will substitute this value in equation number 1. I will just have substitute. See, I am substituting this value. I have removed this dou psi by dou t factor, we have removed it, and I will substitute in this equation. So what I will get in this equation? Clear everybody? So what I will get? Del square psi, see, del square psi is equal to 1 by v square. So instead of dou square by psi, what do you write? Omega square psi. Clear? So omega square psi is there. So what I will write here? Since omega is equal to, you already know, omega is equal to 2 pi nu. So what I can write here? Omega is equal to 2 pi. Nu is frequency. I can write V by lambda. Can I write like this? See, V by lambda. So implies omega square is equal to 4 pi square into v square by lambda square. Clear everybody? See, omega is 2 pi by v by lambda. So if you squaring on both sides, omega square is equal to 4, 4 pi into pi square, v square by lambda square. So what I can write here, omega square by v square is equal to 4 pi square by lambda square. Clear? So what is lambda square? You already know. What is lambda? See here. What is lambda? Lambda is h by mv. So what I can write here? Implies omega square by v square is equal to 4 pi square by h square by m square v square. Since lambda is equal to h by mv, implies lambda square is equal to h square by m square v square. So like this you can just derive this equation, very simple equation. So if you can write, so what I have written, omega square by v square is equal to, now it will be 4 pi square m square v square by h square. So where we need to substitute this equation? So where is there our equation? See, this is there, this is our equation, this is equation number 3. Right. Substituting the value of omega square by v square in equation number 3. Equation number 3. So what you will get obtain? See, dou square, what is there? Del square psi is equal to, minus means what you will write? Minus 4 pi square m square v square, right, by h square into psi. Clear everybody? Right? This is equation what? So this can also be what you can write. This is equation number 4. Clear everybody? Now what we are doing here is that, I think you got a clear idea. Now let us consider. So I think you got a clear idea. So what you need to remember this. So now we got this equation. This equation can be written as like this again, del square psi plus 4 pi square m square v square. I can write like this also, right? Minus will go there, is equal to 0. This is also equation number 4. This is can be rewritten as. So I think you got a clear idea how I have done. Very slowly I have explained you. So again we'll go for the next one. See new. Okay. So now our equation, what was our equation? Del square, see what was the equation? Del square psi plus 4 pi square m square v square by h square into psi is equal to 0. This is our equation. So now so this is equation number what I said, 4, right? So now what I am doing is that you already know the total energy of the particle, is given as, what is that? E is equal to half, directly I can write kinetic energy plus potential energy, right? So what I can write, E minus V is equal to half m v square, right? So 2 into, can I write like this, E minus V is equal to m v square, okay, multiplying m on both sides, So what I will get, 2m into E minus V is equal to m square v square. So why I have done so? So I want to get this value. M square V square can also be written as E 2m into E minus E. Why? Because energy of the particle. Schrodinger equation will give us the energy information regarding the energy of the particle. Now substituting the value of m square v square in equation 4. So what it will be? Del square psi plus 4 pi square, right, into 2m into E minus V, right, by h square into psi is equal to 0, implies del square psi plus 2 4s are 8 pi square m by h square into E minus V into psi is equal to 0. So we have removed that d by dt term and we got this equation, and this equation is the Schrodinger time independent equation. So you got clear idea over how to derive this Schrodinger time independent equation. So up to this, this will be the derivation which will be asked you. So this is what del square, again writing del square psi plus 8 pi square m by h square into E minus V into psi is equal to 0. This is Schrodinger time independent equation. Time independent equation. Clear everybody? So we in this today's class we just discussed about the Schrodinger time dependent equation and time independent equation. In the examination he may ask you derive the Schrodinger time dependent and independent equation simultaneously, or else Schrodinger time independent equation separately and dependent equation separately, right? Thank you everyone, thank you for your patience. We'll meet on the next class, right?